giving answers to the last home assignment. So here, number 1 is minus 21, number 2 is minus 100, number 3 is minus, not minus, it's plus 5. Okay, let's put a plus here, plus 5. Number 4 is minus 12. Number 5 is 77. Number 6 is 22. Number 7 is 132. Number 8 is 27. Number 9 is 126 here because we have negative, so it's minus 126. And number 10 is minus 65. Number 11 is minus 7. Number 12 is 3,366. Number 13 is 84. Okay, this is 84. Number 14 is minus 105. So let me check to see if my signs are correct. Yes. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can ask in the comment section and I'll try to answer almost every question as much as I can. But for now, let's get to today's work. Let's see what are we going to talk about today. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's talk about HCF and LCM. And you will be asking, what's HCF and what's LCM? So let's start with HCF. HCF stands for highest common factor, and LCM stands for lowest common factor. Oh, sorry, not factor here, it's a multiple. Okay, so let's start with this one here. And highest common factor. For us to know what's the highest common factor, we need to know what is a factor. So what is a factor? A factor is a number that can divide another number without leaving a remainder. Okay, so here we're saying that a factor is a number that can divide another number without leaving a remainder. And what do we mean by this? Let's take, for example, we have 20. Let's take 11, 20 and 11 together, these two. And let's say 20 divided by 11. What's the answer here? The answer is 1 remainder 9. So is this number a factor of 20? Is 11 a factor of 20? No, it's not. It's not. So let's try another one. This one, the answer is 2. Oh, it's a factor because we have a remainder of 0. So this 10 is a factor. And even now, if we come and take this 2 and we say 20 divided by 2 and we get 10. So 2 is a factor. If we say 20 divided by 5, we will get 4. So this is a factor. And the funny thing about factors is, if you look very close here, we say 10 is a factor, and when we take 2 and put 2 here, 2 is a factor and it gives us 10. So if we have 5 as a factor, even the answer here is also a factor. So 4 is also a factor of of 20. So what can we take from this? So what we can take from this is, if you have two numbers, A and B, if you have two numbers A and B, and you can and B can be multiplied by another integer to give A, okay, and B can be multiplied by another integer to give us A. This means B is a factor. What am I saying? We have B multiplied by 2 equals A. So if it's like this, it means B is a factor. So let's take this into practice. Let's take this to see in real life examples. Let's have 3 can be multiplied by 2 to give us 6. So what are we saying? We are saying 3 is a factor of 6. And we can see also here 2 is a factor of 6. Let's have 5 multiplied by 10 equals 15. So 5 is a factor of 50. 10 is a factor of 50. So that's how you find factors. They can multiply each other together. And yeah, though you can find also by dividing. If you divide by 10, then you get 5, and you know 10 is a factor. So this is to prove. But if you know any numbers that can be multiplied to give you a certain number, it means those numbers are factors of that number. So let's take another example. Let's say 1 multiplied by 7 equals 7. So this here is a very, very strange thing to some. They'll be thinking, can we say 7 is a factor of 7? Yes, we can, because remember, when we talked about factors, we said a factor is a number that can divide a certain number without leaving a remainder. So 7 is a factor of 7 and 1 is a factor of 7, because if we divide 7 by 7, we get 1 with no remainder. If we divide 7 by 1, we get 7 without getting a remainder. So when we talk about factors, they are prime factors. Okay, let's write it here. They are prime factors. Prime factors. They are prime factors, and we also have composite factors. Composite factors. Okay, so first let's talk about prime factors. What are prime factors? Prime factors, if you remember, we talked about prime numbers before, but anyway, now let's talk about prime factors. What are they? So when you talk about prime factors, these are factors that are prime numbers. Factors that are prime numbers. What I mean they can't be further divided. They can't be further divided. They cannot be further divided except by one or themselves. Themselves. Okay, let's say themselves. Okay, besides one and themselves. So, for example, here, let's say we have we are looking for factors. We are looking for factors of 12. If we look for factors of 12, let's list them here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Okay, so these are factors of 12. And which one of these are prime factors of 12? Let's see, this one and this one. So 2 can be divided by 2 and can be divided by 1, but no other number can divide 2. The same applies with 3. 1, 3, 3. Here we can get 3. Here we can get 1. Here we can get 2. Here we can get 1. So you see, these are prime factors. Let's see 4. What if we try 4? We can divide 4 by 1. Yes. We can divide 4 by 2. Yes. We can divide 4 by 4. So now this is not a prime factor. This is not a prime factor, because we say a prime factor just divide by itself and 1. But now we also can divide with 2. The same applies with 6, 1. We can divide 6 by 2. We can divide 6 by 3. We can divide 6 by 6. So this also is not a prime factor. So if they are not prime factors, they are composite factors. And what are composite factors? Okay, so when talk about composite factors, when talk about composite factors, these are numbers that are not prime factors. Okay, let's see right here. These are numbers. These are can we say? Let's say these are factors, because you're talking about factors. These are factors that are not prime. Meaning, what am I saying? This means they can be further divided. They can be further divided into smaller numbers. Into smaller numbers. Okay, so they can be further divided into smaller numbers. For example, we talked about 4 and 6. So these are called composite factors. So when you talk about factors, that's what we are talking about. If we talk about numbers that can divide a certain number and then without leaving a remainder, and then when we talk about factors, we can break them into prime factors and composite factors. Prime factors being those numbers that can not be divided by any other number except 1 and itself, and composite factors being those numbers that can be divided and become smaller and smaller and smaller. Those are composite factors. So with that, let's move on to another one. So now this is very too high. Let me write it again here. So we talked about let me use this. When we started, we were talking about HCF, highest common factor and lowest common multiples, and we said we talked about highest common factor here. That's why we're talking about factors. So a highest common factor now is the biggest number that can okay, we will talk more about that. For now, let's talk about lowest common multiple. Then in the future, a few minutes after, we will talk about that. Okay, so let's talk about lowest common multiple. So for us to know what we are talking about, let's see what is a multiple. Let's see what is a multiple. So here we write multiple. What is a multiple? So when we talk about a multiples are products of a given number. Multiples are products of a given number. Products of a given number and any other integer. Okay, so a multiple of a number is obtained by multiplying that number by another whole number. So this, if you can see what we talked about, so multiples are products of a given number. So now what I'm trying to say here is, let's take for example, we are looking for multiples of C. Multiples of C. So for us to get multiples of C, we say C multiplied by maybe 1 because 1C. C multiplied by 2 equals 2C. C multiplied by 3 equals 3C of 3C. So this and this one here, these are the multiples of C. So for us to get a multiple, we just multiply that number with any other integer or whole number. So for us to get multiples of a number, we multiply that number with another integer or a whole number. So that's how we can get a multiple. So in general, if you have A, if A is a whole number and B is any other number, let's say we have A, a whole number, and B is another any number, an integer or a whole number, and if we multiply them together, they will give us multiples of A. This is a multiple of A, AB. Yeah, this we'll talk about this more in the future. Okay, let's simplify this so that we maybe some people they don't know this yet. So what I'm saying is A. We are looking for multiples of A. Let's say A and B gives us C. C is the multiple of A. Okay, so now every number is a multiple of itself. that is same when we're talking about highest common factor. If you remember, every number is a multiple of itself, because you can multiply one and that number and get that number. So that's what I'm saying. Like we have one. Well, okay, let's look for multiples of 7. So we can say multiples of 7. Okay, let's put an M here to say multiples of 7 equals 7 multiplied by 1, which is 7. So 7 is a multiple of 7. Excuse me. Okay, so now let's look at something else. 1 and 0. 1 and 0 can be considered multiples of all the numbers, of every numbers. Why? Because if we multiply 7 by 0, we get 7. We get 7. So, oh, sorry, we get 0. We multiply 7 by 0, we get 7. Okay, so this is what we can talk about the multiples. So now let's move on. So when we talk about multiples, there are a lot of things that we can talk about. So now let's move on and expand on that multiples and factors. So first, let's go back to factors a little bit. So we say, remember when we said we talked about factors, remember factors of 12 factors of 12. So this we can also, let's say we can present this like this: factors of 12. And what are factors of 12? Factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. These are factors of 12. What about multiples of 12? Multiples of 12. So multiples, we put M and 12, and factors, we put an F and 12 to represent factors of 12, and here multiples of 12. So multiples of 12, we start from 12, 24, 36, 48, and we can go. So the difference between these two, there is a difference that you can see. We can write all the factors of a number, but for multiple of a number, it will continue going, because we're just multiplying that number with other numbers, and so the list will go on and on and on. Okay, so now if we say these are the factors of 12, and these are the factors of 12, and these are multiples of 12. So when dealing with more than one number, now let's say we have more than one number, then one number has its own factors and another number has its own factors. So there may be common factors. There may be common factors which are numbers that are common. Let's say we have 12 here, and okay, let's say factors of 12 which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. And then let's say factors of 6 which are 1, 2, 3, and 6 itself. So common, you see we have 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3, and 6 and 6. This one is not 6 and 6. So these are common factors. Common means you can find them in 12, you can find them in 6. So these are called factors. And when you talk about multiples, we just do the same. We come and we say multiples of 12. We say 12, 24, 36, going up. And the multiples of 6, we have 6, 12, 18, 24. Oh, sorry. Okay, like that. So if you see, we have some common factors, multiples here, 12 and 12, and here 24 and 24. So those are common multiples. So now when we come back to what we were talking about, we said we want to talk about the lowest common factor, common multiple, and highest common factor. So let's start with okay, my page is full. Let me come up here. Okay, so when we talk about factors, highest common factor, now we will come, okay, let me go down here. We already have this. So highest common factor, so here we have factors of 12 and factors of 6. Which one is the highest? We can see here 6 is the highest, because highest is like we're talking about the biggest number. So factors of 6, we have 1, 2, 3, and 6, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. So which one is the highest? It's 6, because 6 is here and here, and here we cannot get another number, so which means 6 is the highest. And when we talk about this one, we talk about the lowest, the smallest number that can be a multiple of this number. So here we have 12, and here we have 12. So that's the smallest. So how can we find the highest common factor or the lowest common factor? Okay, let me clean my board, and then we will start to having some methods so that we can see how do we get these numbers. Okay, so we can just have another page. Can we add another page here? Oh, but it's okay. Let me clean these pages and then we continue from there. Okay, I'm back. So now let's continue from where we left. So we were talking about highest common factor and lowest common multiple. So now let's do this. Let's start with finding the highest common factor of given numbers. Okay, so let's start with numbers like let's start with 18 and 24. Yes, let's start with 18 and 24. So we have different methods to do this. So let's see, how do we do this? So the first method is something familiar. We did that before. Okay, so say factors of 18 we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, not 4. Sorry, not 4 here. 3, 6, 9, 18. Okay, and then we say factors of 24. We start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. We also have 12 and 24. Okay, and then we are looking for the highest common factor. So therefore the highest common factor here is, let's see here, it's here, this one. Is there something higher than this? Yes. And 4 is not common, 6 is common, so we have 6 and then nothing else. So it means the highest common factor of 18 and 24 is 6. So that's method number 1. And method number 2, this one we will say, okay, we have method number 2, let's say method, okay. Let's just say method, let's not be lazy. Okay, method 2. So method number 2, for method number 2, what you do is you have 18, and for 18, for us to get 18, we need to multiply 2 by 3 by 3, and for us to get 24, we need to multiply 2 by 2 by 2 by 3. So what we can do here is we can look for the common numbers here. So we have 2 and 2, and we'll put them here, 2, and 3 and 3, and we'll put them here. So the highest, okay, let's do it like this. The highest, sorry for writing. Okay, now highest common factor equals 2 by 3, which is 6. The same answer with what we did before, but different methods. Okay, and the third method now, for me, I like the third method more. Okay, let's look at the third method. Let's write it over here. Okay, method 3. So method 3 is we come here and we write 18, and we write 24 next to 18, and like this. So we start dividing these numbers from the smallest number going up. So let's start with 2. We can divide 2 here. So 18 divided by 2 is 9. And we also have 24 divided by 2 is 12. Okay, and we can divide both these numbers by 3. So if we divide here, we say 3 divided by 9 is 3. 3 divided by 12 is 4. And then we don't have another number that can divide both of these numbers. So we take this 2 by 3, which is equals to 6. So you see, this one is easy because you just list the number and you find the common numbers that can divide both numbers. And if we don't have common numbers anymore, it means we just take the numbers we have here, multiply them, and get the answer. So now we can see that when you find common factors, this method is better because it's easier. Yeah, people have different thoughts, but if it's me, I will choose this one because for me this one is easier. So as the numbers get bigger, you see that the first one and the second method, they are not very good to use. You have to do more work. But when we use the third method, it's easier to apply when we are working with bigger numbers. So, but I will not tell you what to do. What I will tell you is you practice all the three methods and you find the one that works for you very well. Yeah, maybe you might choose that when you are dealing with small numbers, you use this one. When you are dealing with bigger numbers, you need this one. But all of them are correct and they will lead you to a correct answer. So now let's talk about the second one, because we didn't finish. We have to also talk about the lowest common multiple. So here we say finding the lowest common multiple. Okay, so when you're finding a lowest common multiple, now it's a little bit different. So let's have the same numbers, 18 and 24. Let's say 18 and 24. So we have 18 and 24. We are using we are finding the lowest common multiple. So first we do something like this. Let's list the multiples, as many as we can. So we have 18. Oh, this one is multiples of 18. We have 18, 36, and 54, and 72, and 90, and 108, and we can go like that. Then we have 24, multiples of 24. Here we have 24, 48, 72. So now if you look, there's no need for us to continue because we already see that we have 72 here and 72. We are looking for the lowest common multiple. So if we just get to see the number here and here, it means that is our answer. So we will just say the lowest common multiple here is 72. Okay, and this method, if you look close, it's almost like the first method we used when we were talking about highest common factor. Okay, let's go to the second method. The second method is the same. Okay, method 2. So method 2, we have 18. We say 18 equals 2 by 3 by 3. And 24 equals 2 by 2 by 2 by 3. But now, because we are looking for the common multiple, before when we are looking for highest common multiple, we just take one number that are common. But when you are looking for highest common multiple, we take the numbers, all the numbers we have. Okay, so here we have 3 2's. So we take 3 2's from here. So say 2 by 2 by 2. And then here we have 2 3's by 3 by 3. And if you do this, you will get 72. So that's how you do. So when we are looking for lowest common multiple, you find which number is a lot of these numbers and you take it from there. Because see, here we have 1 2, here we have 3 2's. So we took 3 2's, and here we have 1 3, and here we have 2 3's, and we took 2 3's to get our answer. And just like highest common factor, we also have a third method, method 3. So method number 3 is the same, with almost the same but not very. Okay, and we have 24. Okay, so now what we do is we divide. Start by 2. 2 can divide both. So here we have 9 and here we have 12. And then, but the difference between these two, when you're doing highest common factor, we will see that this 2 cannot divide this, but 2 can divide this. So we change which other number can we divide both, and we used 3. But now when you're looking for lowest common multiple, if this cannot be divided and this can be divided, we will continue with 2. And now here the 9 will just carry the 9, but the 12 will become 6. And then yeah, this 9 cannot be divided, but we still can divide this by 2. So we can also divide by 2, and then the 9 will be carried and the 6 will be 3. Then we divide by 3, and here now we'll get 3, and here we'll get 1, and then we divide by 3. Now we get 1 and 1. So what is the rule here? The rule here is we divide every number until we have 1 here and 1 here. So now what do we do next? We just take these numbers. We have this 2, this 2, and this 2, which means 2 by 2 by 2, and we have this 3 and this 3, which is by 3 by 3, which will give us 72, and the same answer. So if you look at this also, you will see that this method is easier. It can lead you to the answer easily without struggling, especially when you start working with numbers that has bigger common factors or even bigger numbers. So that is what I think. This method is easier. So okay, let's have another example. So our example here is saying let's find highest common factor of 24, 56 and 72. So we start with method 1. So method 1, we say highest common factor of 24. Factors of 24, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12 and 24. And factors of 56, we have 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, 14, 28 and 56. And then we have factors of 72. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 12, 18, 24, 36, 72. Okay, so now we find the common, because we want to find a highest common factor. So our highest common factor here, we can see that here we have 8, 8 and 8. So it's highest, because if you look the other numbers, we have 3 but it's not highest, we have 2 but it's not highest, we have 4, it's not highest, so 8 is the highest. So here our highest common factor equals 8. That's method number 1. So method number 2, method 2, we say 24 equals 2 by 2 by 2 by 3, and 56 equals 2 by 2 by 2 by 7, and then we have 72, which is equals to 2 by 2 by 2 by 3 by by 3. Okay, so now we are looking for highest common factor. So 2, 2, 2. Put them here. Multiply by 2, 2, 2. Here, multiply by 2, 2, 2. 2. And we don't have anything else common, so the answer here will be 8. 2 by 2 by 2, 8. Okay, and then method number 3. So method number 3, like before, say 20, 24, 56, and 72. So first we use 2, and with 2 we get 12, 28, and 36. Then we get 2, because we can also divide all of them by 2, and here we get 6, here we get 14, and here we get 18. And then we divide them by 2 again. Now here we get 3, here we get 7, and here we get 9. We cannot divide by 2. Can we divide by 3? No. Oh, we cannot divide this further. So now we take this 2 by 2 by 2, which gives us 8. So the highest common factor is 8. Okay, so that was all about highest common factor. Let's have an example of lowest common multiple. Okay, so let's clean this. Let's try another example on finding the lowest common multiple. So here we say find the lowest common multiple of 18, 60, and 90. So first we use the first method. Let's say method 1. Okay, so the M18 is 18, 36, 54, 72, 90, 108, 126, 144, 162, and 180. And then for 60 we have 60, 120, and 180. And for 90 we have 90 itself and 180. And as you can see now, we have 180, 180, 180. So the lowest common multiple of these numbers is 180. Okay, let's go to method 2. So okay, so let's go to method number 2. So on method number 2, we'll say 18 equals 2 by 3 by 3, and 60 equals 2 by 2 by 3 by 5, and 90 equals 2 by 3 by 3 by 5. And then we have lowest common multiple equal to, so we find where the number, we have more of the number. So if we look here, we have 2 2's here, so we multiply 2 by 2. And if you look, we have 3 2 2 2 2 3's here, so 3 by 3. And then we have 5. If we multiply this, we will get 180, which is our lowest common multiple. Okay, method number 3, my favorite, method 3. So on method 3, we just come here and put 18, and we put 60, and we put 90, and here we go. Oh, sorry, it didn't work well, but it's okay. We can see. Okay, so we start with 2. So if we divide this by 2, we'll get, here we get 9, here we get 30, and here we get 45. And 2, we can still divide this by 2. So we say 2, we carry 9, and here we get 15, and here we get 45. We just carry 45. And now we go to 3, because we can divide this by 3, and we get 3, 15, 15. Oh, sorry, 45. And then we divide by 3 again, and we get 1, 5, and 15. And then we divide by 5, and we get, oh, excuse me, I made a mistake here. When I divide this one by 3, we can divide this by 3, and here we can get 5. Here we can divide this by 3, and we can get 5, and we can divide this by 3, and then we get 15 here. Yeah, you get 15. Say 5, so 3, 5, and 15. Then if we divide by 3 again, second time, then here we get 1, here we carry the 5, and here we can divide by 5, and we get 5. And then if we divide by 5 here, we will get 1, 1, 1, which will leave us with lowest common multiple being equal to 2 by 2 by 3 by 3 by 5, which is equals to 180. Okay, this one. What happened here is I made a mistake when I was calculating. I just divided this by 3, and I didn't divide this and this, so it was going to give us a wrong answer. So let me do it again very quick here. We have 2, 18, 60, and 90. Okay, like this. So we divide by 2, and we have 9, 30, and 45. Then we divide by 2 again, because we can divide this one, and we carry 9, but here now we have 15, and here we have 45. And then we divide by 3. Here we get 3, here we get 5, and here we get 15. And then we divide by 3, and here we get 1, here we carry 5, and here we get 5, because we divide this by 3. And then we divide by 5, and then we get 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. So that's where we then take these and use them here to get our 180. So my take is the third method on highest common factor or lowest common multiple is the easiest to use for me. But for you, you can practice more and see if you can get the answers correct. So I will give you some questions, and you can try to answer if you can. If you are willing, you can put your answers in the comment section. If you don't want to do that, you can just wait for the next lesson when we revise those answers. You can check if your answers were correct. But for now, check the questions that are coming next. Okay.